All right, we are here at Dominion Gym, and I have Vaughn Govia here. He is a pro fighter here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and also a coach. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about, you as a fighter. I know that you've got a fight coming up, so perhaps we'll start there. Tell us a little bit about the fight you've got coming up.
The fight I have coming up is at XKO. We're going to be fighting at Gas Monkey Live January 10th. And, I'm just going to go in there and do my best and put on a show for everyone that uses their hard-earned money to get out there. So.
Okay. Awesome. So have you always been in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or did you?
No, originally I was born in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands.
Okay.
Migrated to Antigua and then found my way to Texas.
All right. Now, we spoke to some of the fighters here tonight where, they got into fighting very early on. Now, is this something that you've been training on your whole life, or did you recently start fighting and become pro?
No, it wasn't something I started as a young kid, like the kids I teach. Mm-hmm. But eventually, after, playing and dabbling in other sports and getting a feel for what I like, I made my way there after leaving football.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I was taken under Eshkadar's wing, and then he taught me just about everything I knew at the beginning of my career. Gave me a good foundation, and then from there I took off, and I'm with Will Campuzano, and they're just building on to the rest of my skills.
All right, so that's something that's very interesting. We had another fighter here tonight who made that transition from football into Muay Thai, into mixed martial arts. So talk to us about your transition. You played football, and then you had some of those skills that you transferred into fighting.
Yeah.
Talk to about that, how difficult that was, or how easy that was.
The biggest change as far as transferring from a team sport to an individual, combat is partially individual because it's just once you get in there, it's everyone's hard work that they put in you, and it's up for you to display it. But other than that, it puts them a lot more accountability on you. So whatever you took out of your class, whatever you took out of your training, that mindset, it's going to show going into the fight. So, but as far as when it's a team sport like football, then you don't know who's the weak link in the chain, and then you're trying to find out, like, where do we need to get, we're doing all our drills, so what's going on?
Right.
But from there, it just puts a lot more of it on you. But when it comes to training, you need those teammates to help you sharpen your skill. Iron sharpens iron.
All right, so you make your transition into the fight game. Mm-hmm. You start off as an amateur.
I had a very short
amateur career. Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little about what made that decision to go pro. Were you just so successful as an amateur?
I wouldn't say I was so successful, but my coach saw something in me, and basically the amateurs do the exact same thing as the pros, mm-hmm. except one is getting paid.
Right.
That's the only difference I see in amateur. I think if amateurs had a lot more like how this show went on, with more headgear, more protection for the fighters, then it would be considered amateur. But some shows, it's like the amateurs are not geared up at all, and they're still fighting just as hard as the pros.
How do you feel about that? I mean, there's a lot of guys out there. I mean, we saw some fighters tonight and some fighters the last time we came here who don't have a lot of experience. If they're going into a fight that doesn't have the padding and the headgear, isn't that a little bit dangerous?
It is a little bit dangerous, but it's also the fighter's choice. They have the responsibility, one, to protect themselves at all time, and if they don't, or if they choose, hey, I think I handle this, then it's either a rude wake-up call, yeah. or they find out that they have the heart and the will to keep fighting.
Okay, so you decided to go pro. How many pro fights do you have?
I have 5-1 in MMA,
okay.
and 1-1 in pro Muay Thai.
Okay, so which do you prefer? Do you prefer the MMA or do you prefer the Muay Thai?
Oh,
now the truth comes
out. That is a tricky question. Each of them have their pros and cons. I really like the fact that in MMA, it's a chess game. the jiu-jitsu aspect of it, and then some of the striking. But it's not a forgiving sport. Yeah, those MMA gloves are not meant to protect the fighter. It's meant to protect your hand, and that's about it. After that, people are getting their hard-earned money for knockouts or for serious submissions. For Muay Thai, I enjoy it just because of the culture behind of it. Being in Thailand, in the States, we don't do the Y crew and everything else like how they do in Thailand, which I hope to go one day. But the culture behind it, seeing that the kids are doing it, and this is maybe how they earn their way out of their current situation, the poverty, then it's nice to see that they can use that just like how we would use baseball or football or basketball to get out of their situation, but they use combat and self-defense, so I like it.
So fighting isn't the only thing you do. You also coach.
Yeah.
So what kind of classes do you coach?
Currently, I do just about all the classes at Campesano Martial Arts. That's where we do our kids class. We go from ages 4 all the way up to the teenagers, and then jump into the adults. But I mean, it's a blast. Like seeing kids develop from not having the proper motor skills to finally having body mechanics and getting everything down to new moves, and seeing them light up when they hit the bags or hitting pads and combinations they never knew before. I mean, it's a joy. I really enjoy it and appreciate the opportunity from Campesano Martial Arts.
All right. Well, you have a fight coming up. Give us the information on the fight again.
The fight is going to be January 10th at Gas Monkey Live from Extreme Knockouts, and I will be fighting Ross Stevens. I'm going to put on a good show and try to give people their hard money's worth.
All right. Hey, thank you so much for taking some time out to talk to us.
Thank you.
Good luck on your fight.
Appreciate it.
And we hope to follow you. Do you have a social media? Do you have a presence out there?
Yeah, I do. You can follow me at Dread MMA. That's going to be for my Instagram, for my Twitter, and you can follow me at the Dread Vaughn Govia on Facebook.
Okay, and Dread, D-R-E-A-D?
D-R-E-A-D.
All right.
Like the terror.
All right, gotcha. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck on your fight.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll be able to talk to you again and see how it went and learn more about your career.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you
guys.
so much.
Good to see you as always, man. Thank you.